Danny Karen here, and you know what's good? I mean, really good. You know what's really good? I'll tell you what's really good. Rocko's Modern Life is, was, and forever will be really good. And here's why. It's not because, well, the plot and the characters and, the art and the jokes, those things are really good. But I noticed something about that show in particular that some people may have not noticed because they were too young, or, maybe a lot of people just don't think like me, and it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe. But I also noticed that if try this at home with your DVDs or your videos, whatever you have, or your YouTube channel. Try this. When you're watching Rocko's Modern Life, think of it, pretend that you're narrating to yourself as you're watching it. And, well, from my perspective, I hear a stand-up comedian talking about his daily life in the 1990s. And it's in my head, and none of the other Nicktoons are like that from my perspective. I feel that if you watch Rocko and narrate what he's doing, what he's saying, what the other characters are saying, what they're saying and doing, if you narrate it in your head, right? You don't hear your own voice. You hear the voice of a comedian doing stand-up. And, well, try it. If you don't believe me, try it. And I gotta say that I really feel that some aspects of that show started off as stand-up comedy, possibly from Joe Murray himself. And I think it's Joe Murray's stand-up routine in cartoon form. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe there's some truth behind this. And for those of you that have YouTube channels that research various television shows and Nicktoons and stuff like that, you may want to do a little research, because right now it's a theory, and I want to prove that this is not really a theory. This is actually true. And you know what? That brings me to my guest today. He is a stand-up comedian, and he's a very good one, but we're not talking about his stand-up comedy. Instead, we're going to talk about the art of tattooing. Please welcome Rob White.
Yay.
All right.
I feel like the studio audience wasn't into that. They didn't clap enough, right? How are you doing, sir?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. All the way to my break room back there, Yeah.
Yeah, there's a certain pattern to that.
Yeah, this is good though. It's nice and relaxing and comfortable because I've been here, and this is where I eat my lunch and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us, how did you start in the tattoo business?
I started in this as a kid. My dad pretty much didn't give me a whole lot of choices. My dad is Cliff White, who owns Cliff's Tattoo down the street in Center Reach, New York. And basically, at the age of 13, he had me in the shop. He had me tattoo him, and from there on out, it was just spending summers and every day off I could in the shop, just learning the business, learning the trade, and by the time I was 18, it was starting full time. 1998, starting full time tattooing, and I been doing this ever since then.
So, can you tell us about your first tattoo?
Yeah. My first one or the first one I did?
First one you did.
The first one I did was, like I said, it was 1993. I was 13, and my father had me and my sisters all do our initials on him. So I did my little R for Rob on his leg, and I was scared, petrified, but I did it.
Wow.
I did it, pulled it off, and it was one of those things that was stuck with me ever since. I've always been into it,
What was the most favorite tattoo you ever done to date?
Oh, That's really tough. I have a favorite one that I've done. I don't know necessarily it's the designs that I really liked, but like the people I've gotten to tattoo, you know. Of course, you know, getting to tattoo my father was great. I've tattooed almost every member of my family, so I guess in a way, like tattooing the different members of my family have all been my favorites. I've tattooed my sisters, I've tattooed my mom, you know, aunts and cousins and uncles, and I tattooed my grandfather and my grandmother, so that was kind of cool.
Wow!
I actually got my grandmother to in turn. It's kind of funny, silly story, but my grandmother wound up tattooing me because she doesn't know how to tattoo, but she actually. We had her in the shop, and she kept asking me, "Well, what do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday?" I'm 30 years old, Grandma. I don't need anything for my birthday. And she kept it up, and I was like, "You know, I want you to tattoo me. How's that?" No, I'm not going to do that. Oh, yes, you are. And so she, you know, came in on my birthday, and she tattooed Grandma on my leg. So
what?
You know, yeah, it was cute.
That's
you know,
awesome.
She wrote Grandma on there, and it was fun. So, you know, how many people can say their grandmother tattooed them? It's my claim to fame now. You know.
So I noticed in the world of tattooing that there's certain fads. Like back in the early 2000s, it was the symbols and like Asian characters, and now it's the quotes. And I'm sure there's a vast history of tattooing that clearly you know about, but I don't know about.
Sure.
So I'm going to ask you, as far as like all the fads of today and in the past, which one do you think you would like to see come back and like make a return in like today's pop culture world?
That's a really good one. That's a really good question. I don't know. There's so many I don't like the word fad because it's one of those things that usually isn't good. You know, it's
right.
It sounds good at the time, but then it's not good. You know, you go forward in history and you think about, you know, the haircuts you had when you were a kid, and you know, the pants and the shirts and the awful clothing choices. So there's a lot of those out there, and I feel like with tattooing, it's so permanent that I say steer clear of all the fads and the things like that, because they come and go. You know, I'd like to see things that are cool getting tattooed. Some stuff was cool, and it's always cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm not explaining myself correctly. You know, like
one of the classics.
Yeah, like I think the classic, the tradition. I love traditional American tattooing. That's it, hands down. I love that stuff. So for me, I'd love to see more of the daggers and roses and panthers and eagles and things of that nature. I can't say one particular one over the other. Just stuff that's classic and cool. You know, in the same way, like with music, you know, MC Hammer was cool and Vanilla Ice was cool, but they're gone and they're terrible. But, you know, guys like Elvis and Frank Sinatra, they were cool and they're still cool. So I kind of want to stick more towards the Elvis of tattooing. You know, things like roses. Roses are probably the best tattoo design ever because, you know, you can get a rose, your mom can get a rose, your grandmother, your cousin, who doesn't matter. You can do a rose so many different ways. It's masculine, it's feminine, it's probably one of the best designs out there. So, yeah.
Pretty nifty.
Roses and sharks and maybe a couple of Tasmanian devils. they're still pretty cool.
People love Taz.
Oh, yeah.
I always see Taz tattoos more than like Bugs Bunny and the rest of the Looney Tunes gang.
Yeah. He was like the notorious like crazy person, you know. He was just I remember in the 90s and, you know, late 80s, it was popular for every construction worker. And I think they were all on cocaine. I think that's what it was. Because they were all just like, I built a house like, I'm like, what you doing? Yeah, that's why I got Taz right here. I'm like, that's why you also have a cocaine habit, too, I think. But, you know, maybe that's what it was in the 80s.
Probably.
It was crazy.
So, I read this thing online.
Uh-oh.
I did my research.
It's online. I got to take a sip of this unknown beverage.
Yes.
No advertising here on the show.
No advertising.
Unless they're paying for it.
Yeah. About 5 things that you don't do to a tattoo artist. For example...
Oh, that's good. Let's hear this one.
Would have to be... Well, one would have to be... you can't take a picture of somebody else's tattoo and go to somebody a tattoo, go to another tattoo artist and be like, I want that. I read about that. Are there any other examples of like things we don't say or things we don't do to a tattoo artist, or like in the building itself, or perhaps?
It's changed so much. I mean, when I was growing up in the tattoo business, it was definitely more of what we would call, a seller's market. So basically, you only had a handful of tattoo shops, and if you came in off the street and wanted a tattoo, and whatever I wanted to do was like, that's the only thing you could get. And if you said something wrong, you'd get out the door, we'd throw you out, and that was it. Now it's become more of a buyer's market, and there's tons of shops. So we kind of have to ease up on our restrictions and things. There's still stuff that you just don't want to do as a tattooer. I mean, someone else comes in with a picture, and hey, I got this picture, and it's somebody else's tattoo, and I want it. Well, I don't want to do that. Maybe that guy got the tattoo, it was personal for you or for him. Now I'm copying it and doing it. That's but there are some designs you can copy because that's what they were drawn to do. They were drawn to be on the wall, and you'd get them, and that was it. But I feel like, what would I not do if I was coming in the door to talk to a tattoo artist? Just be respectful. It's amazing to me how many people will disrespect you, and then 2 minutes later they want you to tattoo them. You're like, oh, this is their most ridiculous. They'll come in and like, how much for this tattoo? I don't know, $80. $80? Bah! Should be 40. You should do it for 40. What is this? And you're like, right. All right, I'll do it for 60. That's the best you could do. Like, yeah, I'll do it for 60. Okay. Like, wait, you want me to tattoo you now after that? After that? Okay, yeah, this is a good idea, So be respectful. Don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
Yeah, treat the guy. You wouldn't go into heart surgery. Would you tell the heart surgeon off right before he actually did some? No. You wouldn't do that. You'd wind up, I don't know, maybe dead. I have no idea. Yeah, that's it.
So, talk about like technology a little bit.
Yeah.
What type of what is the tattoo process that you do? Like, is it old school or is it newer stuff? I watched this video how the needle would go like this, constantly. Right. Is the
like the slow motion kind of videos?
Yeah, I saw the slow motion videos of
scary.
someone getting it looks
everything in slow motion is scary though.
It looked like something was exploding on somebody else's arm. That's what it looked like, but in real life, it was a tattoo of something.
That's are you technology? Yeah, there's a lot of different things now. I mean, basically, your traditional tattoo machine was more or less just an electromagnetic coil. So more or less like a doorbell. You hear the doorbell like, It's the same exact thing a tattoo machine was. And it's still the same thing that I use every day, that we all use. My wife tattoos. She's a little more, hip with the technology. I'm more like stubborn old crotchety man. So she'll use like these rotary machines that don't make any sounds and all this.
Wow.
And I kind of hate that, but it is another tool in the arsenal for things like that, I think. But primarily, tattooing technologically hasn't changed much. The inks, the needles, it's all really the same. The biggest technological changes in tattooing are the internet and television, which I'm not a fan of. I really feel like they ruined it a lot. I mean, in a lot of ways, people got more exposure. There's more, people know about stuff. Like, people are watching this, and they'll know about us. So that's a good thing. But sometimes people get a little too exposed to things to where they think that they know more than you do, and so they'll constantly come in with this. So, well, I saw it on TV. I saw it on TV, and I'm like,
right.
I saw David Copperfield make the Statue of Liberty disappear on TV one time, but it's still there.
Yeah.
So it's it's not everything on TV and on the internet is real. There's a lot of things that are fake. So, you kind of got to, no matter what your business is, whether it's tattooing or auto repair, you have to trust the guy a little bit. Like, he's, or he or she, not everyone's trying to, screw you over.
Right. So you're not a fan of Ink Master?
No, I hate that show so much. I don't mind people putting it out there, and there's some really great shows. Like Viceland has a show called Tattoo Age, which is amazing. It's perfect. They show the tattooers, and they really do a good job. But Ink Masters is just exploiting the tattoo community at an alarming pace. I mean, you have First of all, the guy who hosts it, Dave Navarro, he's not even a whatchamacallit. He's not even a tattooer. And he doesn't even have good tattoos. He's got terrible tattoos. They should put him under the scope and be like, what did you get? This garbage. But no, they got him on there and all these other people. And they turn it into a three-ring circus contest where, like, you're making permanent marks on people. How is that a contest, you know? Like a contest of something like, hey, I did a painting. Oh, you did a painting. Oh, yours is better than mine. Yay. Not, you know, hey, that permanent thing on your arm sucks now. Like, what? Yeah, you lost. You voted off the show. Like, what? The guy just, that thing on my arm? Like, yeah, like, what are you doing?
It's terrible.
And they have, you know, and there's this whole notion that the people that are on that show are the best in the business. They're the greatest people going. I'm like, there are some good tattooers on there, but more than anything, the guys that are really great at tattooing, they're tattooing, you know?
Right.
Like in any business. Like if you're really good at building motorcycles, you're too busy building motorcycles to do a 45-minute show every week. Like,
right.
You know?
Yeah.
Not to say that West Coast choppers or Orange County choppers are not good, but I'm just saying, like, what do you got that much time in your schedule? I don't want to have that much time to do a television show. I feel like they'd rather be television people than be tattooers or bike builders.
Like instead of like practicing your own craft.
Yeah, like
you know, they want to be like a TV star and like get the glory but not the hard work behind it.
Of course, it's like, you know, when you did comedy, what was the best compliment? It was always when another comedian said, "Man, that was a great joke."
Yeah.
Another comedian telling you that your joke was good is better than the whole crowd laughing that night.
That's true.
You know, you'd be like, "Wow," because you know he knows, and you're like, "Yeah, I did well." That's what I want. I want other tattoo artists to look at me and say, "Wow, he's a good guy." I mean, don't get me wrong, I want my customers to say that too, but the customers don't know what goes into it as much as, you know, the other people involved. So I think, yeah, I hate the TV. I hate Inkmasters a lot.
So I don't know the terminology here, so don't be offended.
I'll make fun of you.
But I want to know about Coverups.
Okay, yeah.
Have you done? You probably did like a fair share of Coverups
all the time.
Yeah. You want to tell us a story about a Coverup?
I don't know if I have any really good stories on Coverups, but I mean everything's been covered up. You know, it's you have to do that because, you know, sometimes you make a mistake and you can't keep it anymore. Or sometimes you went to somebody and they just didn't know what they were doing. You know? And I don't know. In some regards, I get it. I've always been a fan of, you know what, live with your mistakes. That's what you did. You know, you got that on your arm. Like, I don't believe in whatever that is anymore, or that's not my favorite band anymore. But you know what? Who cares? It's you did that when you were 19. You look back when you were 19. You go, oh man, that was a good time. You know, I mean, in certain cases, I've seen people who get pot leaves and stuff that. And, you know, and you're like, I don't care what you do. It's not. But it's just not. Do you really want to walk around with the pot leaf on your arm, or you're younger and maybe you did something, maybe you were a gang or something, or maybe you were whatever. Yeah, you want to cover that up. That's fine. That's a good thing. You kind of should. Or names.
Names.
Oh, names are bad luck. You know.
I wanted to hit upon the category of names at some point of tonight. I'm glad you brought it up.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we're getting back to that. No, we're good. Names are bad luck. Names are always bad luck. I always say the only names you should put on you is your mom, your dad, your kids, and dead people. Dead people because they can't come back and irritate you. You know? And even sometimes your mom and dad and your kids, maybe not. I don't know. I've seen people cover up all of them. Like you're covering your kid's name. Like, yeah, my kid's not a good person. Okay, all right, I'm not gonna ask. You know. Yeah, names are bad luck. But at the same time, names are kind of a good thing for us, I guess, because you get a name tattooed on you and it costs you like, $80, and then you got to come back for the cover up and that costs you like $200. So I win, right? Not that I want to do that. I'd rather tattoo something nice on you, but I can't hold your hand. You're an adult. You tell me you want to get that. All right, that's what we're doing. So
what would be like the most famous character or person you did a tattoo of?
A tattoo of? You mean like as far as like a portrait type thing or something, or are you talking like
or a symbol like the Wonder Woman symbol, or
what is like I've done so many different symbols and things over the years, and just random tattoos. I can't even think what's the weirdest or the strangest.
Well, like anything that sticks out in your head.
Autographs. People get random autographs all the time.
Really?
I think I mentioned to him before, but somebody came in with Magic Mark autograph of Vanilla Ice. They got that.
What?
Yeah, not like then, but like within the last 10 years. Not like when Vanilla Ice was good, but Vanilla Ice was like absolute garbage.
Right.
Yeah, I think he's rebuilding houses or something now. He wasn't even doing that. Like he was like, I don't know. He was just appearing at weekends at like the Paramount or something. He was out front valeting cars. And they got like the Vanilla Ice autograph tattoo on him. So yeah, stuff like that's always weird. I did like lots of band logos and bands that you're like, what? Like when I tattooed over in Ireland for a while, which was kind of fun.
Yep.
And when I was over there, a kid came in and he wanted Europe on him, and I'm like, oh, he's like an Asian kid. I'm like, oh, like you traveling around, like you going to Europe now? He's like, no, like Europe, like the band Europe. I'm like, I don't even know this band. Like, what's Europe do?
Yeah.
They do the Final Countdown. Remember that song?
Yeah.
The Final Countdown. Like they did that song. I'm like, that's your band? Like that's your band? That's the one that you were like, Europe forever.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they have another song, but like that, yeah, stuff like that's always ridiculous. But hey, man, you know what? I can't tell you what song to have in your, in your jukebox. It's for you. But you wear it.
It's crazy.
I only got to make it look good and stay on you for the rest of your life. That's it. Crazy times, Danny Karen. Crazy times.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna wrap things up, and I'd like to thank Rob White.
Thank you, sir.
For appearing on the show in his break room of his own shop.
Yeah.
And if you like this video, subscribe. If you like Rob White, subscribe. Or just me, subscribe.
You'll enjoy it.
And give a thumbs up. Ring that bell on the YouTube so that you can be in the know of like interviews and segments that you would be into. People love tattoos. People love Nicole, who sings opera music. If you're into opera, check out Nicole. She's the somewhere in the past. And we're not done with Rob White. We're gonna see him in the future. He'll be back in the future.
In the future.
And
time machine, Danny? What's going on?
We have a time machine.
Oh my God. Okay.
We're gonna see you later on in life.
All right. I'll beam me up or something. I don't know.
We'll do that. We'll do that. Rob White, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
Bye.
So, see ya.